It's not like we didn't have options when naming this show. After going to Bourbon Street, French Quarter, New Orleans, Louisiana, we had all sorts of options. I turned my long-suffering wife, Marie. Hi, honey.
Hi.
You know, we had fun in New Orleans, but we do know people who call it Nolans.
Oh, I'm going to Nolans because they call it Nolans.
Some people do.
Yeah,
A lot of us don't. But anyway, we're looking at all the different options. And this is the cool thing about New Orleans. There's so many names for this one spectacular city.
Yes.
You know, I mean, New York is the Big Apple.
Yeah.
And Chicago's the Windy City or the Second City. That's it. New Orleans has like 5 names.
Okay, I've got them right here.
Go.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
The Big Easy.
There you go.
Everyone's heard of that one.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah. The Crescent City.
Very cool.
Yeah, for sure. The Birthplace of Jazz.
We will absolutely acknowledge that because they have so many jazz clubs, Louis Armstrong Park, everything else. That is the birthplace of jazz.
This one we're really familiar with because we also do films. The Hollywood of the South.
Now, amazingly, when they call it the Hollywood of the South, there are people in a town called Atlanta, Georgia that would beg to differ.
That is true.
You
but
know.
New Orleans, I think, reached #1 outside of LA for productions before Atlanta did. Yeah, so
Okay, we'll give them that.
now it just kind of every year it's like different. It's like Atlanta this year, New Orleans this year.
One day you'll be making Georgia. Who knows what the hell's going to happen? What else you got?
Crawfish Town.
Really?
We had a former student, also a friend. She just went down for Mardi Gras and she ordered a pound of crawfish delivered to her door. Hi, Christine. And it was really cool because I saw this on Facebook, and it was because during Mardi Gras, it was really hard to get an Uber because everything was so like packed.
So if you want food, you get delivered,
Yes.
and they brought her crawfish.
Oh, they looked amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. And the Paris of the South.
Oh.
Because, I mean, you know, a lot of French settlement there. And like, I mean,
Architecture, the influence on the
yeah.
food, the influence on the language, everything
Yes.
else. Yeah, that's actually very cool.
Very cool.
So we went to Nolans because we know a guy who's called it Nolans.
Nolans.
And it's like, well, okay, we'll let that one slide for now. It was New Orleans, Louisiana we went to. But this is our second part deux of 2 parts. Part un, we already did. Part deux. We're going
Right.
to talk today about our final 2 days in New Orleans because it was kind of epic. And I will just preface this by saying we've got 2 words coming up. Open bar. That's Marie over there.
That's Frank.
Voca Vacay starts right now.
Prepare yourself for the bestest, amazingest, and overall super duperest travel program in the history of ever. Vacation like it's your job and live vicariously through yourself. It's time now for Voca Vacay.
And you know, every single
right.
time we start a new program, we always got to give a shout out. Shout out to our newest and bestest buddies in our global media empire that is Voca Vacay. Thanks for playing along in our sandbox, you new countries of Slovakia.
Stop it.
Slovakia is now listening to it. We're huge in Slovakia.
Oh, man.
And if you don't know where Slovakia is, go to Czechoslovakia.
Yes.
Because it was one country once, they chopped it in half. So Czech Republic is the left Slovakia. That's exactly what happened.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's right there by Hungary.
They just chopped it in half.
Pretty much. Turkey is now listening.
Oh, very cool.
It's about time because we've done several shows on Turkey.
I know. I'm like, where have you been?
Yeah, represent. And country number 3 for this episode is Mali.
Oh.
Northwest Africa by Madagascar, Morocco, Burkina Faso's over there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, Mali, thanks for playing along. Really glad to have you with us.
How exotic.
And of course, you countries and everybody else can listen to us on the mothership, which is vocavacay.com. Of course, we're on YouTube, all the social media, and all the other fun stuff as we tell you of our personal experiences and adventures in all sorts of places. And we went to New Orleans, Louisiana,
Yes.
and holy moly, it was a great time.
It was. And also, I have to say, I think we got our cameras and everything figured out.
Yes.
We're coming to you in 4K. 4K. 4K, baby.
Okay, so if you're watching us on YouTube,
I was just making some hand signals.
hang on, I'm going to make hand signals on my camera. It's not in 3 dimensions or 3D or anything. We're the special glasses. No, it's just 4K, which means it's awesome.
I think it was like we had one camera right the last time.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were 10.8. I was like, it's got to be fixed.
We've got to talk to
So
our
I'm
technical elves who are behind the scenes doing all this stuff for us.
We're hiring.
Yeah.
The pay sucks, and quite frankly, there isn't any. But you get to hang out with us and come work some of the technical stuff, so we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Come join us
Yes.
on Team Voca Vacay.
That's right. And Team Voca Vacay, which basically is just Marie and I right now, we decided to go to New Orleans
Yes.
for reasons you'll find out about in part 1, our previous episode. Go check that on vocavacay.com because
Yes.
it's awesome. But we're in the French Quarter.
Yes.
And before we proceed much further, we've got to talk about the French Quarter proper, because last time we said, hey, you know, there's a lot of history there, a lot of architecture there, but we didn't talk about walking around the French Quarter. The French Quarter is not big, by the way. It is very, very walkable.
Right.
However, there's certain sort of footwear you might want to have just available, because if you decide to wear little spiky heels or something like that, it's not going to happen, honey.
Give me the deeds.
Yeah, tell me about walking in high heels.
Okay, high
you
heel.
tell me about that. How you like that?
I own a pair of shoes that I take everywhere. I have like one pair of shoes. What would you be your warning to those who would want to wear high heels in the French Quarter?
Okay, you know, it's a lot of cobblestone.
Yes.
So you don't want to do it.
No, you don't. That's it. You simply don't want to do that there.
I mean, there are people who do, and they do it.
Yeah.
I personally cannot.
Yeah.
And so if you're, you know, going there to really, you know, get around and do some stuff by foot, I don't recommend. But if you're just going there to party and you got one of the hotels right there in the center of it,
right,
and you're basically just coming out to hang out and like be down on Bourbon Street and like do all that and then go back up, by all means, I mean, just watch where you walk, because you could break an ankle.
Oh, let's make it simple. Just get a pair of Crocs. Okay, seriously, you don't. Or Uggs.
It doesn't match my outfit.
Oh, nothing matches. Oh, no, I'm going to walk around like this. I got my Crocs.
The problem that we have, honestly, is that it is not what we call ADA friendly, which is Americans with Disabilities Act. So you're going to walk around and you just have to be very careful of where you step.
Right.
And
I mean, they have... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, just we don't want him blowing an ankle out or something like that.
Right, for sure. And as far as ADA goes, I mean, they do have ramps and stuff.
Yeah.
We have been to countries where they don't even do that.
No.
So, I mean, you can get around if you need to, if you need that kind of accommodation, but the cobblestone is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be careful when you're walking.
Yeah.
So, again, French Quarter is not huge. As we told you before, we are on the north side of the French Quarter. We have a lovely hotel there, and we decide on day 3, and this is a 4-day journey, on day 3, we are going to go around and walk around Bourbon Street, and we're going to do something unusual. We're going to do this in the daytime.
I'm all about culture.
I mean, you got to walk around to see stuff. So there you go.
So we're on, okay, you know, Bourbon Street is big on nightlife.
Yes.
It really is. But Royal Street
is
so incredibly underrated.
Yes.
It is parallel to Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street, I don't want to say it's bars.
It kind of is.
But there's a lot of places to get a rum punch or a hurricane.
You can count them on both hands.
There's no shortage of neon drinks there.
And your toes.
Yeah.
Oh, yummy.
But Royal Street, it's one street up, and we call it the slightly sober older sister of Bourbon Street. Look, you can go there and still get a drink or a beverage, something like that, but it has a lot of quaint shops to it.
Yes.
And it's actually very cool. So when you think about Bourbon Street, French Quarter, that's all that's there. No, there's a lot more there.
There is,
You just got to walk around a little bit.
I loved the shops on Royal Street, and you just get to look around. They have some real boutique-y kind of local shops, and then they have like, you know, I mean, there's, you know, it's America, so there's a Starbucks on every corner, but
Seems like it.
There's lots of eateries, and there's like, you know, lots to do. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, here are some of the stores that we found. Trashy Diva. They sell, and here's the deal. It's almost like Victoria's Secret.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
It's a retro dresses and lingerie from the 40s and 50s.
Yes.
1940s and 50s. It's actually very cool.
That's very cool.
So if you're looking for a corset or something like that, that's the place you go. And here's the deal. It's not like a dirty X-rated place we walk through. It's like, it's kind of classy and flirty.
Yeah.
But it's a fun little place. So you walk by and go, yeah.
If I could still fit in stuff like that, I'd go.
Oh, you'd be nice.
No, I've given up my corsets for gumbo. I mean, let's be clear. Because, you know, I got to get my gumbo on.
There's a place called Erzuli's Voodoo Store.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, we did not go into that one.
Not voodoo.
Yeah, but the voodoo you do so well. There's a voodoo store there. So if you're into voodoo or anything like that, you can absolutely check that out.
And that's big in the area because of all the mystery and mystique and the just the oldness of the town.
Yeah.
Like,
and the culture and all that stuff and the Haitian stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
That's all there. Fifi Mahoney's hair pieces and wigs. If you don't know what Fifi Mahoney's hair pieces and wigs sells, let me explain to you. They sell hair pieces and wigs.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
But here's the deal. There's so much costuming going on in New Orleans, and there's so many parties. Sometimes you just want to have poofy, over-the-top hair or something like that, or regular hair. They've got it.
It's a theater lover's dream.
It is.
It's a drag queen's dream.
You'd be nice. But anyway.
No, but I mean, like,
no,
yeah,
it is. It
that
is.
and like also it's the parades. Like,
That's right.
Anybody that wants to dress up.
Anybody wants to dress up
It's
and
your
look however you
dream.
want, that is the place. So they have a specialty wig and hairpiece shop, which I think is absolutely cool.
Yes.
They also have the Gallier House. It's a historic home.
Gallier?
Gallier, Gallier, Gallier.
Oh.
That's me trying French. I don't know. I could be wrong. And the thing is that a lot of, and I'll tell you, I was just looking this up, some of the difficulties that they're having with Bourbon Street, or also, in fact, the entire area down there, is whether to make certain sections of this pedestrian mall hours or not.
Oh.
So in the daytime,
Yeah.
on some of the streets from like 11 to 4, from like St. Louis to St. Anne, those are two of the perpendicular streets, you'll have some pedestrian mall action going where cars aren't allowed.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're just walking around. Now, this is a huge bone of contention because there are people, by the way, who actually live in the French Quarter.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, dude, we would like to be able to have our cars and drive around a little bit or something like that. And that is actually one of those things they're looking at, saying, how much is pedestrian friendly? How much? But the reality is, guys, you're living in the French Quarter. You're living on Bourbon Street or
Yeah.
Royal Street or something like that. A lot of people going to be walking down the road.
For sure.
So they have that going on. But anyway,
A lot of looky-loos.
a lot of looky-loos.
A lot of gawkers.
A lot of gawkers.
A lot of tourists.
So we
A
start.
lot of Voca Vacayers.
We start Voca Vacay touristing and gawking around, and we go, you know what? The day 3 that we were on, this was a Saturday.
Yeah.
So we say, you know what? We got to start stretch this. Was Saturday or Sunday? I forgot what day we got in.
Oh, this was Sunday.
This was a Sunday.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So it's like, you know what we need to do? We need to go to Brennan's.
Yes.
Brennan's has what's called, Bananas Foster?
Yes.
Oh.
They're famous for it.
Yeah.
That's where it actually started.
Yes.
And look, Brennan's has an amazing brunch thing. Like, it's all day long.
Yes.
So, and you have to make a reservation. But we were lucky and we got in, and some of the brunch fanfare was the word I was trying to come up with.
Right.
Some of the brunch fanfare happens later in the day. Some of it happens like you just get there early and you just trying to get over your hangover. But like, yeah, Brennan's is a thing. It's a place and a thing.
So what happened is that we go get in line.
Yeah.
There's a line at the door. We're getting there when it's open. We don't have reservations because that's not how we roll.
Oh, this is the place that does the champagne.
That's
later
right,
on
the
in the day.
sabering.
They saber champagne. That's what it is.
Yeah, so-
we didn't go for that.
No.
Yeah.
What we did, we went there early on the Sunday. It was like, okay, we're going to stand in line. There's like, I don't know, 8, 10 of us in line.
Yeah.
We got some local flavor because a guy who was, I don't know, he was a little bit drunk or a little bit,
He was either home challenged
Mm-hmm.
or he was a tourist that was really drunk. I'm not sure which one, but
Yeah.
it was. So listen, if you're standing, a lot of the restaurants you have to stand in line, especially if you don't already have a reservation.
Yeah.
But even if you have a reservation, they're opening their doors right at the time
That's
they
right.
open. So you will see this a lot while you're there. A lot of people standing in lines to
Yeah.
get in. So anyway, just be aware that there's local flavor that's going to be around.
yeah, there are, and it's not like we were accosted or anything like that, but
No.
he was, here's the deal. He was just talking loud.
Sure.
And at 11
himself.
Yeah, at 11 o'clock in the morning, it's a little bit off-putting to go, it's a little bit early for this. Usually the night shift is what's talking loud at night. But anyway,
Yeah.
so no big deal. We go and they say, do you have a reservation? We say, no. And they said, oh, right this way. And they put us at the bar. Now, because we got there early, let's explain. It's a very nice place. We walk around, we go into the bar, and we sit down. You can order the food at the bar, and it is lovely stuff.
Which way is the bar?
The bar, by the way, is where we sat for food this time.
I was trying to get it in earlier. I missed it. Anyway.
Which way is the bar? Mom, it's okay. We had food at the bar. I promise that's what they did there.
Yes.
I had, let's tell about what we ate real quick. I had the
do tell.
eggs hussard.
Yes.
It's a Brennan's original. It has homemade English muffin, coffee cured Canadian bacon, hollandaise, and marchand du vin sauce.
Laissez.
I don't speak French. I'm giving it a shot.
I love it.
You got something else, by the way.
I had the croque madame.
Oh, you did.
Yes. I had Hamon de Paris, a sunny side up egg, black truffle, and Gruyere. Oh, and let me just say,
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
and that's all I got to say about
It
that.
was so good. Now, remember when we sit at the bar, what Marie was talking about earlier is that they do have a fancy thing they do on Sundays at about 2 o'clock.
Yes.
They do a champagne sabering where what they do is they get the big saber swords.
Yes.
They take the bottle of champagne and they do it out and they have a courtyard.
Yes.
and they just go wee, and they do that, and they chunk, and the thing comes flying off, and they pour champagne.
Yeah.
For us, that wasn't going to work in our schedule.
Right.
And we said, you know what? That's okay. We really want the Bananas Foster.
We really want the Bananas Foster. We want to go for brunch. I think we actually got there when they opened.
Yes.
So we were there, and that's how we were able to get in without a reservation. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that. So what we said was, you know what? We're going to sit at the bar, and we're going to get Bananas Foster. Now, what's going to happen here in a second is we have a video. So if you watch us on YouTube, you're going to see this video. It's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes long, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's someone, and she's talking about the history of Bananas Foster. But here's the important thing.
And they do this for every table.
Every table. We're sitting at the bar. There's a couple to our left and there's people to our right. Okay, visually, I'm painting a picture here.
Yeah.
We're sitting there. The couple next to us came in and they only got Bananas Foster.
Smart.
You don't have to come in and order the four-course meal deal and then get dessert.
Right.
They'll just say, we want Bananas Foster. You go straight to the, Bananas Foster if that's what you want to do. And they did.
That's smarter than what we did.
So they did that. We eat. We get the Banana Foster floor show, and then the couple next to us on our right did, and then the couple next to them on their right did.
It was like a whole conveyor belt of Bananas Foster.
What happens is they come out, they have this person who makes Bananas Foster, and there are flames involved.
Yes.
Like 3 feet vertical flames going up.
Yes.
So here's the deal. We're going to roll this video. If you're just listening to us on the podcast, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, because you'll hear her explain things.
Yeah, she's going to talk about that right now. But anyway, this is what it is, a flavor of Brennan's and Banana Foster.
And to celebrate a good friend's success, Mr. Richard Foster, the man on the wall over here, Owen Brennan, goes off and decides to throw him a party in the restaurant, sets everything up, and he invites the whole town, being that Mr. Richard Foster was just promoted to a very high political position, kind of like a fancy neighborhood watch, if you will. So he, to celebrate him, he goes and he invites the mayor and all of the city officials and whatnot without Ella Brennan's knowledge. So does so, and goes to her 2 hours prior to the party starting and says, I need a dessert, something really special, something that hasn't been done before, something that would wow the crowds. And so initially she likes the idea and she says, I'll have it in a few days. And he says, no, you don't have a few days. People are going to be here in 2 hours. So she's frustrated. This is a very last minute notice, but she gets right to work. She reaches right into her own mother's cookbook to find caramelized bananas, something they had enjoyed as kids for breakfast. So she's already very familiar. She throws it over vanilla ice cream because she knows Owen Brennan hates vanilla ice cream, and so this is her way of getting back at her brother for giving her such short notice on something that's supposed to be so spectacular. She throws in a shot of rum to flambe the bananas, being that at the time and still to this day, for the world to watch them tableside, they crave that same energy in their own restaurant. So if you're about ready, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I mean. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
Flames right there. Did you hear it?
Nice clean flambe.
I can
Burn
taste
the
it.
alcohol out of the rum to give a rich dark profile in the caramel sauce and thicken it up a bit as well. Take our bananas out. We don't want them to be too mushy. We still want them to have a bit of bite. People enjoyed this so much that night, they continued to come back into Brennan's and demand that they have it once more. And as word got around, the Brennan's family was forced to put it on the menu naturally and name it after their good friend, Mr. Richard Foster, who was originally the first inspiration for the creation of the dish. 7 years later, we make around 50,000 tons of bananas every year in this restaurant, one of the most copied. Here we are. Hot caramel, cold ice cream.
Hot caramel, cold ice cream.
Oh my gosh, 2 of my favorite things. Oh, that is just...
I can taste it as
Oh
we
my
speak.
gosh, that is so good. Now let's point out what happened there. She comes by and she has a little serving, it's not a serving cart because you can cook things on it too. It's like a portable thing on wheels. She comes up, she has banana slice and there's little things of vanilla ice cream. And by the way, this is built for 2 people.
Right.
It really is. So if you're a couple, you've got this down pat.
Right.
She comes out and she has the ice cream and there's bananas pre-sliced and they're sliced lengthwise, which I could never do correctly. But I always screw it up.
Right. Me too.
So she does that and she goes, okay, I'm going to do this, da-da-da. And she makes this nice little thing with brown sugar or whatever it is. And then she puts the bananas and then she flames them. You hear that sound. That is 3 feet of vertical flame coming at you. I mean, it just goes like, whoa, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. And I didn't know this. You could feel the heat
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's right next to you.
Yeah.
And so you actually get this nice little heat. I never knew a banana ice cream dish could give me not a sunburn, but it's like, ooh, I actually felt that. And it's delicious.
She said that she didn't say this in this piece. We were talking to her after, but she said she's made hundreds and hundreds of these and has never made it at home. So I was like,
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, I get it because it's what you do. So, I mean, could you imagine working somewhere where you could eat this all the time, made fresh?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you'd see me rolling in here on a daily basis going, honey, I ate 17 bananas Foster today, and I would totally do that because I know me and I know bananas and sweets, and I would totally do that all the time.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
Oh, wow, that hurts. Anyway.
It's okay. You can have some more bananas Foster and it'll make you feel better.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and you're always like, this is why I'm fat. I'm like, this is why I'm happy because I love eating bananas Foster.
Go cry in your bananas Foster.
So we roll out of there now.
Roll is really a good word.
Good. And here's the thing. I feel so incredibly good.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just like, oh, it's nice. And New Orleans was perfect weather at the time. We go walking back down Bourbon Street, Royal Street. We see all that. And here's the deal. We see one of your favorite, I don't know if it's an artist or a certain look that you like.
There's a gallery and
Yeah.
it sold sort of a motif of pieces.
Yeah.
They all had to do with animals and they were all like kind of cartoon, not really cartoon, but they weren't lifelike drawings or paintings. They were, what am I trying to say? Like,
Yeah, it's not animation, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's one of these things like a caricature where you
Yeah.
have like, but Pete the Cat is the
it's
thing.
my favorite.
You love Pete the Cat.
Yeah. And I used to collect some Pete the Cat and the guy, what's his name? It escapes me now.
I don't know, but it's Gallery Renard that's the
That's
gallery
where we
you're
were.
looking for.
Yeah. They had several pieces in there. But Pete the Cat's really popular now. It's on
Yeah.
like Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
They've turned it into video.
Oh,
There's
they've
like
got
a
video.
ton of books.
They've got kids' books. They got all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff with that.
Yeah.
So if you are a fan of any sort, and here's the deal, there's a lot of art galleries
Yeah.
there. So if that's the sort of thing that speaks to you, it's like, oh, I like Pete the Cat or I like anything of that
Yeah.
style. Please, this is the place we went in. We're the only people there.
Yeah.
And the person behind the counter, she was so incredibly helpful.
Yep.
She said, oh, yeah, we have showings here. We have a gallery here. And we have all these other things. And she'll talk about Pete the Cat. And while you're talking to her, I'm looking at the bookshelf and there's like 30 or 40 kids' books
Yeah.
about Pete the Cat having various adventures.
Yeah,
I had
and-
no idea.
Yeah, and it's just Royal Street's really awesome.
Yes.
Everyone can find something there that they either, see and like or that they already kind of like have and that they, you can see it in this city. I mean,
Right.
it's just interesting.
So we did that. And then coming back, we decided, hey, there's some street art.
Yes.
And there's a street art vendor. And so it's like, okay, well, let's get you a little piece of street art from New
Yes.
Orleans. And so we did that on the way back. I think it was $20.
and he signed the back of it.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, and it's very cool. So it's like, okay, we've had
Okay.
Bananas Foster.
We need to take a rest.
We go back to the hotel. After Bananas Foster, I'm good for a
I'm
while.
satiated, feeling good.
And it is a Sunday, and just to put this in the time frame, the Kansas City Chiefs, who are my home team, are playing a football game.
I'm glad you brought that up because here's the deal. In part
Yes.
before this, I mistakenly said that we went over New Year's because I just remember it was at the end of a month.
Right.
And we have been traveling and trying to get a lot of stuff done. It's been a little chaotic and hectic. It was the end of January.
Yes.
And so football, the foosball, was still going on. In fact, some pretty important games.
Incredible games.
Yeah.
And I am Kansas City, not a fair weather fan. I mean,
Right.
I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm very proud of that. And we finally got a really good football team.
Chiefs.
So it's like, you know what? So we just go back to the room. We're sort of lounging around going, well, we got a big night planned ahead of us. So let's sort of decompress. Let's take a hot minute.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes for, whatever. And we watch the first half of the game.
Yes.
And we go, this is great.
Yeah.
Now, let's get a ride over to
The warehouse district.
the warehouse district. And that's where the Mardi Gras World was that we
Yes.
went to last time.
Yes.
Because you were smart. You did not just find a chain of bars and taverns.
Right.
You did your research and found a local place that had the game on.
We were looking to go back down
Yeah.
into the quarter because we were like, well, we're staying at the edge of the quarter.
Yes.
We could just go, but it was an important game for you.
Yes.
And I was like, we should go to a neighborhood bar.
And we went to a neighborhood
And
bar.
it was amazing.
You found a neighborhood bar, and this was called the Rusty Nail.
Which way is the bar?
Well, we went that way and we
Yes.
found the Rusty Nail. So there you go.
We go there and they had lovely outdoor dining. They had tables up. They had TVs up and all that stuff. And when I walked in, or let's put it to you this way, I think we left like in the third quarter of the hotel, and it's just a little 10-minute ride over whatever it is. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
And we go, okay, we're going to go over there, and we're ahead by 14 points. Next thing I know, we get there, Kansas City's only up by 7.
Mayhem ensues.
We're playing the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, man.
And we lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. The reason we didn't go to the Super Bowl because the Cincinnati Bengals beat us. And I'm watching at the Rusty Nail, which, by the way, is a lovely place. I don't fault them for the bad game outcome. But holy moly.
I cannot. It was just a weird turn of events.
It's like, seriously? But here's the thing. It's a great bar. We had a wonderful time, very good vibe, and this was far enough away on the edge past the French Quarter over the Warehouse District that it was not a tourist zone.
Right.
Everyone there was a local. I swear, we were the only people there who did not live in Louisiana proper.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great feeling to have, like to go where locals go and feel like you are part of the neighborhood is a great thing. And to be able to watch your team and it not just be like chaotic partiness like in the quarter and it just be so like kind of homey and welcoming. It was amazing. They had drink specials too. So we had like, I don't even know. We might have only had one drink, or maybe we had a couple. I can't remember.
I think we had a beer, maybe 2.
Yeah, and that was it. I mean, it was great though.
Yeah,
for sure. I highly recommend the Rusty Nail.
The Rusty Nail. There you go. Shout out to these guys. And we were outdoors at a picnic table, and they had all the TVs up, and everything is wonderful. And then, as it turns out, we totally lost. Oh gosh,
I'm so sorry.
So what will perk me up? What will do my heart good after seeing my beloved Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Bengals? Oh my gosh, I'm in a lousy mood.
I'm all about culture.
You've got an idea for culture.
I do.
You have totally got an idea. You have got me covered, honey.
What will cheer us up?
How about a burlesque show?
Yeah. That was one of the reasons we also picked this neighborhood bar, because it was in the same neighborhood where that evening we happened to be going to a burlesque show. You can't go to New Orleans and not see some nakedness. I mean, that's what happens. They're known for that there. Yeah. So we did it proper though. We fancied it up a little and we didn't see total all out nakedness.
Yeah.
We saw some burlesque though, and it was awesome. The show was amazing.
Okay, this is called the Howlin Wolf Burlesque Show.
Yes.
And so we go there, and it has different locations. I mean, there's different venues in New Orleans where it will perform. Yeah. And this one night happened to be a block or two just around the corner from the Rusty Nail, where we totally had fun, except the Chiefs lost. And then we said, okay, we're going to go ahead and go to this place. Right. Now, we go there. You have to go through a small bar to get in. It's just on the back of it, basically. Yeah. So we walk through there, and here's the thing. Let's talk about burlesque for just a hot second.
Yes, please.
This is not a strip show.
No, and it's not a strip club.
No, it's not. No.
Perfect.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, the best analogy I can make is that this is classy.
Yes.
It's flirtatious.
It's theatrical.
It's more like cabaret, where
it celebrates flirtation.
It does, and it's kind of naughty.
But not sleazy.
Right. And whereas a strip club is like Poison's Talk Dirty to Me. And now Brandine is making her way to the center stage, everybody.
I love how we're just
I wouldn't know about that.
We are totally right, though. This is like totally, it's a different thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun.
It's kind of tongue in cheek. It's kind of kitschy. It's kind of,
Yeah, it's one of those things. And not anyone can just be like, oh, yeah, this burlesque show. It's like, no, to pull this off, you need to have a team that really works very well at doing this one sort of entertainment, and they nailed it.
Oh man, it was great. They had all kinds of different dancers. There was a lot of ethnicity. There were guys.
There's a dude that came out.
Like I was like, yes. And it was a good experience.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I was like, yeah, pump the brakes there, honey. It's just a guy. They had one episode, not episode, but one act that came out. It was 3 gals at once.
I know, yeah. And the dance routines were amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing.
It was comical as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so some of the jokes were really funny too.
Yeah, and they were bawdy or vaudevillian if you want to call it that. But it was a lot of fun.
Perfect.
And we really enjoyed it. Here's something I didn't know. And this is a little service they do to you. If you walk in with a $20 bill,
yes,
they actually have someone who is the bill change person. They will walk around with a stack of ones.
Yes.
And they'll go, would anyone like some ones? You just hold up a 20 and they'll give you 20 ones and all that. We're sitting in the front row. There's only like 3 or 4 rows of this thing, but with 3 or 4 rows of tables, I should say.
I bought the VIP. No, I'm just kidding. That's just kind of where we got seated.
We got seated because we were like the first ones in because I'm so despondent over my beloved Kansas City Chiefs.
Sure.
It's like, okay, so we'll just walk right in. Okay. And they said, sure, sit right here. Thank you very much. So we get a stack of ones.
Did we say what it was called, though?
What, the Howlin' Wolf?
The Howlin' Wolf Burlesque Show.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we get it in there because we highly recommend y'all.
Yeah, in fact, we'll reinforce that later on because like this is a really cool experience.
Yeah.
So we go there. We've got $21 bills now. And here's how
Make it rain.
That's right. Here's another difference. You are not supposed to go up to them and like start putting dollar bills into their clothing that they have on. It doesn't work that way. Again, it's not a strip bar where that happens.
Right.
Instead, they come out. There's literally a bucket they put at the front of the stage.
Yeah.
So at any time during the performance or right after between the acts when they walk on or walk off, you can come up and throw some money at them. Or, and this is fun, they encourage you to take a stack of dollar bills and just throw them on stage, make it rain.
And we did.
Here's 10 and whee! And just goes off like confetti, and everyone's in a better mood than the people that, I'll throw in $10. It was a good time.
If those weren't ones, if they were 20s, in my mind, I'm like, when I'm Oprah rich, I'll make it rain with a higher denomination. But those ones, it did make me feel good for a hot minute. So,
It was kind of nice. But you know that song, Hey, Big Spender? That's how I felt. Like, big spender, here's $1.
It's so fun.
So we did that. So yes, Voca Vacay has officially gone to a burlesque performance.
Yes.
And it was a good time.
Yeah.
So thank you, Howlin' Wolf, and all the people that were there. It's like very, very nice. We come out of there and we think, you know what?
I'm hungry again.
So far, well, we have Bananas Foster. That's only going to hold you for so long.
That's for sure.
And we had a couple of beers at the Rusty Nail. Again, we need food.
Right, exactly.
New Orleans is on the coast. Coastal waters abound.
Yes.
It's time to get some oysters.
Oh, man.
Give me the deets.
One of your favorite things to eat is oysters on the half shell.
Yes.
You love raw oysters. So do I.
I got to thank my Aunt Janie for that.
Oh,
she taught me how to eat oysters proper. Mm-hmm. You got to get them fresh. You got to get them cold. You got to get them you've got to do the horseradish or the cocktail sauce, the fresh squeeze of lemon. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many different ways to do them. You got to have them with the cold beer, maybe like an anchor steam, something. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aunt Janie. You did it right.
Yeah, because I'm always used to. I'm always used to that. You put them on a little premium saltine cracker. You put that on a little bit. A little bit of sauces, and you just knock those suckers down.
I just slurp them right out. And I read once you're not supposed to do that, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I'm on vacation in New Orleans. I am totally gonna do that. So we decide to go. We look these places up, do a lot of research, and Acme Oysters is the place that they're like, if you're going to an oyster place, you really want to go to Acme Oysters.
Yes.
We're in.
Oh, yeah.
We go there, and incredible place. There's a short line at the door. It's just about 4 or 5 people deep. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And the guy at the front, I won't say he's a bouncer, but the doorman was very nice. Like, hey, how many in your party? Stuff like that. Do you want to sit at the table or sit at the bar?
Yeah.
Sitting at the bar. Hang on. Let me talk to my mom again on this. Sitting at the bar in this case means sitting at the oyster bar, not at a drinky bar, an oyster bar. Huge difference. We'll be sure I don't get in trouble here.
Yeah.
What?
It's just funny.
Well, we sit there. So we'll take 2 at the oyster bar, please. Right this way. So we go, and we're literally go right in the door. You take a right turn. There's the oyster bar.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys back there just shucking oysters.
Oh man, it was like we got seated, in my opinion, in the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Because we were just watching them. I mean, it was just dozen after dozen after dozen after dozen after dozen.
Yeah.
Oysters. It was just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And there's neon signs everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's got this sort of it's divey, but it's also I don't know, there's neon and it's not totally divey. It's nice.
It's fun. It has a really cool atmosphere.
It's got a very cool vibe.
Yes.
And they kind of say and I did not realize this, but we sat there for a minute and the guy's like, you going to tell me what you want? You just yell at them. Yeah. You're like, this is what I'm going to have.
Well, and there is that neon sign that says, a waitress may help you.
Right. Exactly.
They actually have that on a neon sign. A waitress may help you. If not, we're just sitting there, watch the guys for a minute. And he's like, so you're going to tell me what you want? I'm like, we thought you were just shucking oysters, sir. Okay, here's what we want.
Yeah.
Dozen oysters on the half shell.
Yes.
Yeah, fresh oysters.
Yes.
And we also got a fried Peacemaker Po' Boy.
Yes.
And that is fried oysters and shrimp with Tabasco-infused mayonnaise.
Oh, man. And a side of hush puppies.
Yeah.
You got to get your hush puppies.
Yeah. So we got that. We sat there and ate, and it was one of the best meals I've had in a very, very long time.
And I'll do it one more time.
You're not fat, you're well-rounded.
As it turns out, though.
This is why I'm fat.
Oh, my God. This is why I'm happy. Thank you, Acme Oyster. You guys are truly just amazing stuff. And here's the deal. I don't care if I go to a seafood restaurant that makes like 100 different items, and it's like they make all these different shrimps, all these different oysters, all these different crawdads, all these different lobsters, all these different fishes, whatever. Make one thing amazingly well, and you've got me.
Acme Oyster.
Acme Oyster. It's in the name, oyster, okay? If you want oysters, please go there.
Yeah,
you
very
will
good.
not regret it at all.
And I do have to say, I think that we weren't in a terribly long line because we were either right before the late night dinner rush or right after the proper dinner rush.
Yes.
We hit the sweet spot, man.
We did.
Because it's a place known for having a long line.
Yes.
So we got lucky.
We got lucky, and we went in. We had oysters. It was so good. And we came out, it's like, so good. Let's go back to the hotel. This was Sunday. Let's go back to the hotel.
Slept really well that night.
Get some sleep because Monday's going to be busy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We get sleep.
Yeah.
We wake up.
Yes.
Time to hit it again. Let's go. We walk back down through French Quarter again.
Yep.
And we go to a place that I had not heard of, but you knew everything about, Cafe Du Monde.
Oh, yeah, because you got to get the beignets, man.
Yeah.
You got to go, if you go to New Orleans or Nolans, you got to go get some beignets.
Yes.
And they're just these like sugary, donutty, like just puffy confectionery concoctions of deliciousness and yum.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what I just said, but I tried to describe it. I hope that came across.
No, they're
okay.
so good. It's and here's what you don't want to say. I can tell you what it's not. It's not a donut.
Right.
It's not a muffin. It's not an eclair. It's a beignet.
It's like much lighter than a donut.
Yeah.
It's fluffy and puffy, almost like a croissant. I mean, it's a beignet. There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah.
And they just throw powdered sugar on it, which is yum.
Oh, they just heap that sucker on there. So we're like, okay, let's go ahead and get down there. Now, something I did not know. Cafe Du Monde has been making beignets since the Civil War era. So what's the 1860s?
Wow.
These guys have been pumping out beignets. Go get them.
Yeah.
The only odd thing is that they come in and they have a walk-up window. So we did not go into the restaurant. I think we had coffees we're walking around with from our hotel or bottled water, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're walking down. And it's like, oh, there's a walk-up window. And they say, how many you want? And we say, we'll take a serving of beignets or a bag of beignets, whatever it is.
A bag of beignets.
Turns out
They come in threes.
Yeah. Can you explain this to me?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Because in my mind, I like even numbers.
Yeah.
And I like to have one or two of something. We had like 1.5.
Yeah.
Actually, what we ended up doing was we each had one. And there was a really hungover dude that was just struggling.
Yeah.
And he had been out all night.
He was,
And he either lost his friends or he might have also been home challenged. I don't know.
Right.
But we were like, dude, here is a beignet.
Get
Get this in your belly.
He was basically saying, he was holding down a bench. And it's like, and we each had a beignet. It's like, these are good, but.
Yeah. I think we gave him that in our water.
Yeah. It's like, here, you need this more than we do. He looked up, he just kind of nodded and all
he was
that
like,
stuff.
Thanks, man.
He's like, thanks. I need a hand here. But the beignets are amazing. They've been making them for 140, 160. I can't do the math in my head, but a very long time and well worth the stop. But just remember, go with 2 friends.
Not one.
No.
Not 3.
Yeah.
2 friends.
2 friends.
One
and
for each.
You'll each have a beignet.
I'm sure there's actually some sort of story about that.
Yeah.
I mean, background about that we don't know.
But just one of those quirky things like, I didn't expect 3 in a bag.
If we were like popular enough on the web and in the socials, we could just ask somebody to tweet us and tell us.
Yeah.
But we're not that popular.
Yeah, it's not like we're Taco Bell famous or anything. So let's just move on.
Not yet.
But the thing is that outside,
You make me laugh.
there was a jazz band playing.
Yes.
There's just a band playing some jazz.
And I think they probably do this on the weekends for sure.
Right.
But I don't know, since this is such a touristy town, probably all the time. It just looked like, this is what it looked like. It looked like part of it was organized and then a few of the guys just kind of from the area came and got with the people who
it looks like
were
there are a couple of
organized.
guys and other people just sort of sat in and joined.
It was like a band, and then Joe came down, and then Chris came down.
Don't we have 30 seconds of these guys playing?
We sure do.
Let's go to that right now. This is what it sounded like on that Monday morning right outside of Cafe Du Monde. Can I mention something? That was in the morning. That was not even the nighttime show.
I think they got a little peppier after that, actually.
Just hear this guy's like, and the thing is, it's like the Doppler effect in reverse. You hear it before you see it. Because we're walking around the corner, it's like, do you hear something? It's like, oh, there's a band. Yeah, okay, let's go see these guys. So just by default, it's like, hey guys, how's it going? Good to see you. We're getting some beignets. We give one to the other guy. All is good.
Right.
It's actually a very New Orleans way to start the week.
It was very nice, actually.
Yeah, it was a good time. So we did that. And the reason we're down there, by the way, a couple things are going on. This is right next to Jackson Square. History time now. Andrew Jackson was the 7th U.S. president. He is the hero of the Battle of New Orleans. And he has Jackson Square, which is right cattywampus kind of to Cafe Du Monde.
I love that word, and I forgot to hit this, so let's do it now.
Give me the deeds.
I'll give you the deets about your 7th U.S. president there, honey.
I like a little history lesson.
Andrew Jackson, that's Andy to his friends. I don't know. Sure.
Mr. Jackson, if you're nasty. If anybody remembers that from the 80s, or did I just date myself?
Oh my gosh.
How old are you?
And Andrew Jackson, yeah, he was in the in the Jackson 5, you had Marlon, Tito, Michael, Marion, and Andrew.
I didn't even know you could name all of them.
I didn't know Andrew Jackson was in the Jackson 5. That being said, it turns out the Jackson Square, it's a lovely park there. There's a statue of him on a horseback, riding Andrew Jackson. He's in the center of the thing. In 1803, this is where Louisiana joined the U.S. as a territory because of the Louisiana Purchase.
Yay!
History comes to life. And it was signed at the Old City Hall, which is right next to the square. It's right there. It's just north of it.
Right.
Next to that building is the St. Louis Cathedral. That was designated as a minor basilica by Pope Paul VI.
All of it's so beautiful. We highly recommend go learn some stuff.
Yes.
And see the things that are historically significant. This town is not just about Bourbon Street.
No.
And getting,
If you go there and get trashed for Mardi Gras on Bourbon Street, you're actually doing a huge disservice to this town.
Sure.
It is an amazing place. We want to go back. We need to go back.
Yeah.
One reason we got to go back, hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, maybe this is a good time for us to turn to the cameras. You might notice we're wearing aprons.
We are.
We've got aprons. These were a perk because we decided the one thing we need to do, this is actually the number one thing on our list of things we want to do, was go to the New Orleans School of Cooking.
Yes.
Now, you love cooking, not just cooking shows like Chopped, but also when we go someplace, if there's a local thing that we can make and learn how to make it from the locals, you definitely want to do this.
I grew up watching cooking shows. I came from a family of cooks. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my grandmother and my aunt both worked at the state capitol and in food service. I think they made rolls for the governor. It was something like that. Yeah. If Aunt Janie, if you're listening, if I got that wrong, I'm sorry. But no. And then my aunt was like a professional caterer and cook. And so I grew up watching a bunch of stuff on TV. Yeah. I mean, what was the guy from New Orleans, Justin, the Cajun. Yeah. Like him. I remember watching him, Julia Childs, like all that up and then into Food Network and getting into all of those chefs. And I just really love to watch food being made. I like to watch people make food. I am a foodie. I just have to say. Well,
the thing is, whenever we visit your family, I gain 5 pounds just walking in the door. I breathe in and go, that's 5 pounds. That's going to hurt later.
I don't need to go home anymore.
Yeah. And the thing is, whenever we go, it's like, okay, we there's a background of cooking and, in my case, eating. And then we think, let's learn how to cook there. So we'll go to New Orleans School of Cooking.
What a great place to learn how to cook local dishes.
Wonderful.
Because there's so much history there.
Yes. So we go to this place. There's a small store in front.
Yes.
And shout out to Lucy and Shantae.
Lucy and Shantae. Yeah, it was Shantae.
Yeah, Shantae and
Lucy. Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hi, how you doing? Good to see you.
They were great.
They were lovely people, and there were cookbooks, there's spices, there's all sorts of good stuff.
Stuff you can buy for your kitchen. Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. You had a really good time just looking around going, yeah, we should get,
But they welcome you, and we signed up for this cooking class.
Yeah.
And we just got to learn how to cook a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, let's, here's how this works with the New Orleans School of Cooking. You have 2 options. One, you can go into a demonstration class. That's where they stand up in front of, not a banquet hall, it's a large room that holds, dozens of people or whatever. And they have someone on an elevated stage, and they say, here's how we make this, and they make all this food, and you're hanging out with your buddies and all this stuff, and then they bring it to you. It's
and you
demonstration cooking.
Taste it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
And that's about 35 $40, depending on the time of the day, what the menu is. Okay.
Right.
And so you watch them cook and then you eat. Or, and this is what we did.
Yes.
You can opt for the hands-on cooking class. Now, let's explain. This costs each of us $145.
Right.
So just know that going in. So if there's a group of you, it's going to be somebody. It's absolutely worth it, though. Do not let the price freak you out.
Yes, it is completely worth it. They prep everything. They give you a history of the food in the local cuisine in the area and how it came about. And then they prep everything and you get to cook the stuff and then you get to eat it. And I have to say, it was so much food. Like, I was just like, this is a foodie's dream.
Yes. This is one of those situations where whenever I get sticker shock going, oh man, that's going to be a lot, but it was totally worth it.
It was totally worth it.
By the way, you guys should charge more.
I know. I'm like, I would have paid more.
I would pay more. It was that good. And, I'm like, oh boy, here's what happens. We walk in, Lucy and Shantae, they greet us, and then they say the kitchen prep areas are in the back. And the course is 3 hours long, by the way.
Oh, man.
3 hours you're going to be eating. And let's just say right now, they didn't have enough people sign up for the demonstration cooking that day.
Right.
So that class was canceled anyway. But ours, we had, 12, 13 of us in there?
No. Well,
Yes.
yes.
It's about 13.
There
Maybe
was
50. I know it was an odd number.
I think you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So we go back and go, and then we met our newest and bestest buddy, our chef.
I did not know that I would learn so much. And he is like, his name is Rene Brunet.
Yes.
But he is a local historian. He was a weather reporter.
Yes.
For local news. But his family is old into the area.
Old New Orleans.
Yes. And so he's got a long lineage and a long history there. And he told us so much stuff. But I'm so glad that we got him as our chef.
Oh, this guy's like a walking encyclopedia of everything you've ever wanted to know about New Orleans history, cuisine, or any culture. This is the guy.
It was like, not only did we get to cook all this amazing food, but we had our own personal guide to a bunch of the history in New Orleans, and not just like the history, but the food history.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
So we get in there, and here's what happens. They take us to the back, they sit us down, and they walk us through the cooking area, because you're going to have individual cooking stations, and 2 or 3 people can work those at once. There's plenty of space.
Yeah.
And so they take us to our little dining area first, and Chef Rene Brunet goes, here's what's going to happen. We are going to have everything is pre-chopped. You're not going to have to chop anything or whatever, but we're going to talk about the culture, the food. If you have any questions, shout them out. It's interactive. You're going to eat at the end of this. And by the way, there's the bar.
Which way is the bar?
It's right there.
When we sat down, I did not realize I can, how to explain, I can reach over and basically touch the bar with my left hand, because
That's the best seats in the house.
the best seats were, I guess we'll sit right here, sir.
I have to say, I thought, oh yeah, this is really worth the money.
Yeah.
And then when they were like, it's open bar and you can go back as many times as you want, I was like, what?
Okay.
What?
Now the open bar consists of the following. It's not anything and everything under the sun. What they have are as follows. And it's a morning class. It's Monday morning here.
Or it's happy hour in France.
Oh yeah, yeah, let's go. They have the following. Open bar for Bloody Marys.
Yes.
Mimosas.
Yes.
Beer.
Yes.
Wine.
Yes.
And then tea and water.
Whatever.
And of course, some gals, remember this gal, she's like, I want a virgin mimosa. You know what that is, right?
I was like, do you just want orange juice?
Just say orange juice. I want a virgin Bloody Mary. It's tomato juice, right? I mean, are we trying to be cool here? Stop it already. You're embarrassing yourself.
Oh, people don't know.
No. Well, we know. And now we've shamed her appropriately. It's called orange juice. So
Belly up to the bar.
So what happened? So in our class, and the recipe or the menu options vary from day to day.
Yes.
The one that we had specifically.
Yes.
We had chicken and andouille gumbo.
Yes.
Barbecue shrimp and grits.
Yes.
And hey, bananas Foster crabs. Hey, banana Foster. We know how to make that now.
Yeah.
So
they also do other ones though.
They do.
They
and
have
you got their menus.
I do, because I was like, oh, we get this menu and we get this menu. They gave us their own menu, but I was like, I'm keeping this one anyway.
Yeah, and they said keep it, learn how to make all of it. So we've got actual head of the. So what do you got over there?
Because it's the menu, but also these are the recipes.
Yes.
They let you leave with the recipes.
Yeah, you walk out with that stuff.
And can I just say, I have made, since we've been back, I have made the gumbo.
Yes.
And it was good.
Oh, it's
better than anything
fantastic.
I've ever tried to make.
Oh, it's fantastic
Like
stuff.
gumbo wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Corn and crab bisque was another one.
Okay.
Poached eggs.
Oh, yeah.
With cheese grits and grillades.
Relades.
That's steak. and bananas Foster.
Okay.
But I liked that we got to do bananas Foster with crepes.
Yes.
Because it was really cool to make them.
It was fantastic. So let's explain what happens. We sit down there and we talk for a bit. And the next thing you know, the Bloody Mary bar, which is right to my left, it's an open bar. And so we think, you know what we need to do? I'm just going to refresh this drinky once or twice or a couple of times.
They lost money on us.
Now you think?
I hate to tell you.
Yeah, they did. So we're going, okay, this is a wonderful thing. And then we have to get up and start cooking with stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit crazy.
But he did actually do a really in-depth explanation as to the cuisine in the area and how that came about.
Right.
I'm all about culture.
So before you get totally tanked, you do got to learn some stuff.
Yes, you do.
So as we all know, the national dish, so to speak, is Gumbo of New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
And he just explained, and I'll just paraphrase here because I did take notes.
Yes.
Because I'm a note-taking fool.
You were scrolling things down. I'm in no condition to write with a piece of paper.
It was really interesting, and I wanted to remember it for later.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two types of settlements in the area, Creole and Cajun. The first Europeans to colonize were French and German and Spanish, Caribbean, African. There was a lot of French cooking, and these are your Creole. It was sort of like people that could afford to come to the area, so they were richer.
Right.
And then there's the Cajun influence, and these were sort of the people that didn't have as much money, so they were poorer, and they were French, but they were banished from Canada. And so they were banished by the British, I think he said, to come down to New Orleans. So they were prisoners and prostitutes. Those are the fun people you want to hang out with.
Yeah, so they got kicked out of Canada and they go to New Orleans going, oh, yeah, the French people down there have already established they will totally welcome us with open arms, no problem.
So they were not welcomed by the Creole. They were kind of known. They settled more around the swamps, but they had a lot of meat and sausage. And here's the thing. They did more like one pot cooking.
Right.
And so the Creole influence in the area is more traditional French and like Caribbean and like fancier dishes.
Yes.
And a lot more of like, seafood and more urban kind of like flavors and spices because it was fancier because they could afford it.
Yeah.
And so I loved that explanation because I've often heard why people make the style of the specific dish that they're making.
Yes.
Like whether or not you put sausage in this or shrimp in this.
Right.
And so when people say, well, I would never put seafood in that because I was raised making it this way. Well, they must have been Cajun.
Yes.
Or I would never put sausage in or like whatever. I would never do it one pot style or whatever. It's like, oh, Creole influence. Okay. Yeah. He explained that so well. And I really hope that I did it justice.
Well, and the other thing about Cajun is that it was a little bit more out in the country. And was, and one of the things that Cajun is actually more Southwest Louisiana, whereas New Orleans is a little bit more Southeast.
Right.
So if you move a little bit more west, you'll get more of the Cajun influence. But there's definitely Cajun Creole. Basically, you cannot have a bad meal in New Orleans.
Oh, man.
No matter what they call it, it's all going to be great.
Oh.
So we learn how to cook.
That'll make you slap your granny.
We learn how to cook. And in fact, I think this is our last video clip of this program where we have Chef Rene Bruno is the other voice you're going to hear.
Yes.
Because he's going to be talking about, and this is where we're just sort of like, here are the things we're making and.
Okay, so he basically teaches you how to make your crepes. And then we each get to make a crepe.
Yes.
And then if you're watching the YouTube channel, you'll see the very first thing we have is just the dishes that we made.
Yeah, we're just talking about the dishes, and then it's into crepe making time.
Yes.
Okay, so you ready to show these people? And if you're not watching us, that's okay on the podcast. Listen along. It'll make perfect sense. This is what's like at the New Orleans School of Cooking.
We just made a roux with a chicken and andouille gumbo, shrimp and cheese grits. Should be amazing.
Oh my gosh. And that's pretty people. What's in here? That's our grits, y'all.
Yum, yum, yum.
And then that's our gumbo. That is everything.
You're going to see how much of this spray goes in. It really doesn't take a lot. And what I'm going to do is pour the batter in the middle, roll it around to make as much of a circle to the edges as you can. If you don't get all the way to the edge, that is not the end of the world. It starts to curl up off of the pan just a little bit. If you can see that right there, it's already beginning to happen. It's time for me to turn, to flip. you get the edge of it to overlap about an inch. Get some air under it, and then you go like that. Yay! And that's it. That's the first time I ever did that.
Okay, Marie's now making her crepe.
There you go, perfect.
Okay, now.
And now let it overflow by about an inch, kind of like the Salvador Dali clock, and look at that! Look at that! Look at that!
Oh, it's still cooking.
So you're gonna get it to the edge about an inch.
It's still cooking and you're still drinking.
Fabulous! Yes,
Frank's drinking a Bloody Mary while he's making his crepe.
we're on 100%. No, I picked that.
Caught it.
There we go. Go ahead, spritz it in there.
Yeah, take
More.
Yes.
More. Come on. Bring on Papa Leg Bus. Yeah. Yes, girl. Yes. Yes, girl. Yes. One more time. There you go.
All right, so that last part there is you're making your bananas Foster.
Yes.
And he lights it, and he lights the rum on fire for you, and you're throwing in some of the spice.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
And there's flames and all sorts of good stuff. And by the way, if you heard everyone cheering when she flipped her crepe, she nailed it perfect on the technical. 10 out of 10. It was Olympic scoring. Everything was great. Of course, mine, I was doing that. The other hand, I was holding a Bloody Mary. It was probably my first of the day. And I turned around. It
yeah,
wasn't.
right.
But I tried to flip it and it caught halfway. But then I saved it. And so my crepe was equally delicious. It was awesome.
You did great,
Thank
honey.
you. So I now have my crepe making skills. So we said, okay, this is all good. So now we've done all this. And we think now we are good. We've learned how to cook these things. It's a wonderful day. Let's go back to the hotel room. Let's kind of decompress.
Again.
Yeah. Oh boy, we had to decompress again. Now, this decompression, we're going to talk about this in just a hot second. Let's go ahead and finish up with what we did for that night, because we got to come back, because here in a minute, we're going to talk about decompression and the toll that it actually cost us.
I mean, I did not know I could go somewhere to a city and literally think, do not put another bite of food in my mouth. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I was stuffed. There was so much food. I mean, just because we have been just having amazing food for a couple of days now.
Right.
But then the portions, like we made a proper meal.
Yes.
We probably could have fed 4 people.
Yeah.
But you're having such a good time. You're feeling really good because you've had some cocktails. And so we just, I mean, and you know, when you make something and you've made it
Yes.
and it's actually really good.
So good.
You just want to eat it.
Oh,
And
we
so
did.
We ate a lot. So we needed to come home or back to the hotel and properly take a nap.
We crashed out. We crashed hard. It's like, it's our last full day in New Orleans. I'm out. You couldn't wake me. I mean, it was like, bring out your dead in the Middle Ages. I'm not going anywhere. So I said, okay, well, what we're going to do is that we did that. We slept and we woke up and evening is upon us. And we think, you know what? We're right across the street from the Louis Armstrong Park, Jazz City, home of jazz, birthplace of jazz. Let's walk over and see that for a hot second. And we did.
We did. I needed to walk off some of the calories from my epic brunch of epicness.
So we did that. And that was, by the way, in our previous episode on this, we talked about how they were shooting some of the Interview with the Vampire stuff down there.
Right.
They're doing production. And you've worked in film before. But what happened is that we found what you call it base camp,
We found base camp. It's where they set up everything, all of the trailers and all the transportation to get people back and forth to, especially if you're shooting on location, you can come to base camp and you can shuttle over. It's all the actors' trailers, a lot of porta potties, there's tents for if everyone's going to meet back at base camp and have their meals or whatever. So it was actually right behind Louis Armstrong Park. And as you know, if you've listened to Part 1, then you know that we were there while they were filming. I don't know if it's a TV series or if it's a remake.
But it's another Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah,
it's another thing of that.
So that was really cool because I got to reminisce about being on location and in the film industry again, which is always fun for me.
Yeah. So we did that, and it's like, oh, this was lovely. It was really nice. It's a nice, pleasant way to wrap everything up.
Yeah.
And then we decided, you know what? I'm just too wiped out to do anything else. Can we just get a pizza?
Well, here's the thing. We had reservations at a fancy restaurant.
We did.
This was our last night.
It was.
We were going to Antoine's.
Yes.
So if someone's listening that is like, oh, you did not go to Antoine's? Why?
We had
We
had reservations.
I feel bad. I'm sorry.
We have overfooded too much. We're on day 4 of this New Orleans trip, and we have literally overfooded and overdrunkened.
That's why we got to go back.
Yeah, I know.
But they are the ones that do
Baked
the
Alaska.
Baked Alaska, oysters, Rockefeller. They
Yes.
are known for all this stuff. And so we really wanted to hit it while we were there. But I was exhausted.
I was exhausted too. I mean, I was getting whiplash from basically just trying to keep my stomach going. It was hard to breathe.
So the pizza we got, though, was really good.
We got a local pizza. I'm going to say this wrong. I know I am. Vucarre? V-I-E-U-X C-A-R-R-E. Vucarre?
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Guys, I took high school French and I bombed spectacularly. Sorry. But we got their supreme pizza. A guy shows up on a bicycle. He delivers it. We eat it. It was perfect.
We just got like a small, or maybe, I don't even know what it was.
Couldn't even tell you.
But we just got enough to be like, okay, we're not going to be starving the rest of the night.
So we did that.
So we did that, and that was actually very appropriate.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could have done another thing that night.
That and that's how we wrapped up the trip. We did that.
Yep.
We packed our stuff, and then the next morning we basically went out and got on a plane.
Yes.
And we came home.
Oh, man.
Just to make 2 episodes of this podcast about New Orleans, part 1 and part 2.
Yes.
Now, you would think that after having a great trip, and it was a great trip, New Orleans, fascinating place, we want to go back. We really, really, really want to go back. You would think that we would never fight again on anything and be like, oh, no, let's think about our memories. Oh, contraire, mon frere. This this segment of our show, we always call this Monica versus Joey.
It's game on. It's time for Monica versus Joey.
And this harkens back to what we did at Antoine's, or what we did not do at Antoine's.
Yes.
And it's a really simple question. Does an open bar, which is what we had at the School of Cooking, does an open bar trump a dinner reservation at an historic restaurant? And it's about pivoting, because here's the deal. Antoine's is an iconic place. You've got to get reservations. There are only certain times you can go. It's a big deal. Baked Alaska. When you go get the Baked Alaska there, by the way, you need to tell them at the get-go, hey, we're going to order Baked Alaska for dessert, because it takes a while to make this thing. They just don't have it in the back pre-made. So they've got to do that. Oysters Rockefeller is a big deal. And this is the thing. Do we need to tell everybody about all the things we expected to hope to get to see in New Orleans that we're going to take a rain check on?
Okay, listen, let's just be real, y'all. If you go to New Orleans and you think, I'm going to have a good time, I'm going to eat the eats and drink the drinks.
Yes.
And it's just going to be, I'll just take a quick weekend. No, you need to go down.
Yes.
I don't know what kind of voice that was.
I don't know. That was
saying,
weird.
It was like, I don't know. I don't know what that was. But you need to, my point is, you need to have double the time that you think.
You do.
Because it's an amazing place. It's an amazing city. You're going to learn all these things. There is going to be culture. There's going to be history, but it's the food and the drinks and the people watching. And so we needed 8 days, not 4 days.
Yeah, we did in 4 days, and we could have doubled that time easily. Here are the things that we did not get to go do.
Yes.
We did not go to a cemetery tour, because they have all the cemeteries there.
Right.
We were going to do one of those.
We were
going to, and they also have like the haunted house and the voodoo tours. Some of them are the same, some are different.
Yeah.
There's a bunch. Didn't get any of those. Willie Mae's Scotch House, which apparently is the best fried chicken in North America.
It's a soul food place that has some of the best soul food.
We wanted to go. Couldn't get there.
I love some soul food.
That was on our short list. Emerald, he's the other Cajun chef guy.
He has his restaurant, and then the restaurant that he trained at is there.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it right now.
Is it Merrill's?
I don't know.
No, but that's another spinoff or whatever. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
We didn't go see any of his stuff.
Right.
We did not go to the National World War II Museum.
Which we heard was fantastic.
Yes.
Right.
We did not go to the original Popeye's chicken location.
We probably should have done that.
Should have done that. We did not go on a swamp tour.
Right.
We did not go on a plantation tour.
Right.
And the one thing that we did not do that I'm okay with not doing is the hop on, hop off bus tour.
Totally not worth it, because the quarter's not that big.
No.
Yeah.
It's walkable.
Yeah.
And so if you want to do the hop on, hop off, you can.
Yeah.
But basically, we look at the bus routes in advance, and they all just circumnavigate the quarter. It's like, dude, that's where we are anyway. Dude, I totally do to these guys.
You just duded.
So the Monica and Joey thing is like, how much can you pivot? Joey is like, we'll pivot, whatever. Monica, you're like a little disappointed we didn't hit everything we needed to hit.
I am.
But you're planning on going for another round down in New Orleans.
I have to say, too, another part of the argument is, do you let the open bar derail you? Like, I'm like...
Oh, my goodness.
We kind of could have hit that one last thing. And as a Monica, I'm like, oh, we've got to tick it off the list.
Yes.
We've got to check it off. But, that's just my anal retentiveness.
Yeah.
And so I can let it go, but we got to go back because we did miss some things.
Yeah, we did. And Joey's like, yeah, I'll take a pizza. It's all good. And so we totally did that.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, with all the things, though, when we do our incredible research on putting the show together, we always find these other things that, we want you to be aware of, and these other nuggets of information that you need to have whenever we go out. That's why we call these little travel nuggets.
Ooh, I like a good travel nugget.
Travel nugget is as this. Do as the locals do.
Is as follows.
Well, here's what we did, and here's the things we did absolutely right. We ordered the local pizza.
We did.
We do not eat at chain restaurants whenever we go anyplace. I take that back. The only exception is if we go to the place like Paris or Germany or somewhere wherever. If we go to another country, it's kind of wacky to go to like Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's just to get their take on what McDonald's is.
That's true.
There's nothing like eating at a Papa John's pizza place in Dublin, Ireland going, dude, this is totally weird from what we're used to. So that's kind of fun. I get that. But when we're in the States, we don't want to eat at, a Burger King is a Burger King. I'm sorry. It's all basically the same stuff.
Yeah.
So what we did right was we got the local pizza. The guy came on the delivery bike and he totally did that. The other thing we'd say as our little nuggets of information, like the Rusty Nail.
Yes.
You found something that was not like a Dave and Brewster's type thing. You found a local bar.
And I know we advocate for this. I think we've said this in other episodes. We advocate for trying something local that isn't, like we said, a chain or something you can't get back home.
Right.
Just because that's part of travel is like experience.
Yeah.
And experiencing other cultures and experiencing other people.
Yes.
And like being open to like that. And that is just why we love what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had so much fun. It was
great.
A good time. And of course, also, pace yourself, and we mean this, pace yourself seriously so you don't miss Antoine's.
Right.
Because we totally did.
Oh, my God.
So,
gotta go back.
We're coming back. Okay.
Yeah.
As we're wrapping up this program, we always do this every single podcast episode. We always go, you know what? We've given you the flavor of New Orleans or whatever the city is of that, episode.
Yeah.
But this time, we decided to go far afield and find something so unusual on the internet, some piece of information that you really need to know. That is this episode's guacamole.
What the holy guacamole are you talking about?
Hey, I'll tell you what. Do you want to be a monarch?
Yes.
You want to be king or queen? And here's the deal.
Please.
We are actually, we've never told them this. We are Lord and Lady of Scotland.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We did that thing. There's a website you can go to where you can totally pay them like a couple of bucks, and they'll send you a link, and you can print your little diploma out. It says, I am now Lord Frank Barnes of Scotland, and there's a town or the...
And they're like, sucker, they bought it.
Yeah. I think we own like 1 cubic inch of Scottish soil or some goofy thing like that. But hey,
fun.
We can actually say we're Lord. We can trump that now.
But I can't say I'm a lady. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, wait a minute. It turns out you can be a king or a queen for the next 10 years. I'm not making this up.
Oh, wow.
Applications are now being invited to secure a 10-year lease for the Ship Inn. This is on Peel Island, Piel Island.
Okay.
It is sitting half a mile off the Furness coast in Barrow-in-Furness.
Hey.
This is an English thing.
Yeah.
As well as running the Ship Inn, the successful applicant, then when you apply to this, you will manage a 50-acre island.
Yes.
The 50-acre island has a pub called the Ship Inn. There's also a campground area, small campsite. And basically what you do is you go there and you say, I will run the Ship Inn for the next 10 years.
Oh, wow.
This is rural. It is isolated. It's an island. It does get popular during the tourist season. And people do kind of come year round, but you have to be used to kind of being alone.
Yeah.
Would you want to do something like this?
I'd totally do this, but I don't know. I'd be afraid I'd get a little bored.
No.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're in one place all the time.
Yeah. You're on 50 acres surrounded by water.
But,
all the time.
Gosh, it's got to be beautiful.
Well, it's a scenic island. It's 50 acres in size. Here, it hosts an array of wildlife. It's home to the ruins of historic England-run Peel Castle. It was built in the 14th century. That's the 1300s. It's basically fallen down. You will be crowned king, or I'll get this out, crowned king or queen. What happens, that is a nod to the 15th century. What happened is someone claimed that they were heir to the English throne, and they landed on the island. They said, I'm the king of England, blah, blah, blah. Well, 10 days later, the English army walked in and said, "No, you're not."
Oh my.
Yeah, so for 10 days, they had a party.
Yeah.
Then they stopped that. They shut that down. The monarch of Peel will be crowned by having a beer poured over their head while sitting on a throne. I'm not making that up either. Visitors can stay overnight at the island's campsite or by booking accommodation at the ship inn. The island is reachable via a short ferry crossing from April to September.
Oh.
And then after that, you're kind of on your own.
I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't get bored. This sounds pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it kind of does. And and you can walk on the sands and all this stuff. Now, if you're a candidate for this, if you want to do this, you have to be comfortable with unpredictable weather and long work hours.
Well, I'm appreciating you telling me about it.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, thanks for checking out Voca Vacay. You know, as always, check us out on the mothership at vocavacay.com. And remember, you can keep up with us on Facebook and YouTube. And YouTube, that's where you can watch us right now. Twitter, Instagrams. And as always, want you to vacation like it's your job.
Yes.
And live vicariously through yourself. Make your own memories. Come on. And hey, our next show, we're going to Vegas.
We are, baby.
Yeah, baby. Go to
Vegas,
Vegas,
baby. Your money and you don't even know it, baby.
That's Marie over there.
That's Frank.
Hey, we'll see you next time. Love ya.
Miss ya. Mean it. Bye.
Don't forget to click subscribe. As always, hashtag Voca Vacay at Voca Vacay and visit vocavacay.com.